Wow. I told you when you're back, we'll talk about the balancing act as a leader. You're a chairman of a BMO, you sit in several boards, you attend multiple meetings in a day, you have your company, you have to meet your staff, you have the school, you are a pastor, you still have to run services.
Yes, I'm a family man.
How do you balance this until someone calls you daddy in the evening?
That's a wonderful question, because if you fail in balancing, you may not be able to get the intended results. There's something that is called the moot hat challenge, whereby you're able to wear different hats, yeah? Whereby you can be Jose to you're a father in the morning.
Yeah.
After that one, you're going to go to your business. You're the manager there. So the art, first of all, is knowing how to put out that hat and putting on the new. Then that's an art whereby some people may not have really clicked it, because sometimes you may go to the wrong office with the wrong hat. If let's say I'm a policeman, and so when I'm in my duty, that's my hat. Yeah. When I get home, I'm supposed to throw away that hat and put the father's hat. So that's kind of multi-hat challenge. That's the ability to become different people at different offices based on the responsibility that God has placed in your way. But then the other thing is being able to create time especially for family, by the way, especially for family, whereby you have time for family. That when you go home, if God gives you the opportunity and you are home in the evening, when you go there, throw away all the other hats, leave them in the car, or leave them somewhere outside the gate. You enter that family as a father and a husband, and make sure you give your children and your wife quality time. Because if I'm at home and I'm always on my phone, if I'm at home, my kid is calling me and I'm busy, just swiping things up and down here, so that I'm not yet at home. And home among all the other responsibilities. Home is the place where you're supposed to give your best. That's your ground. That's your landing place. That's where you land at the end of the day. That's where you get a place to rest. That's where you get
it's the stability platform.
That's where you get people who really care for you, people who really love you because of you. So you give home enough time. You give your wife enough time. You give your children enough time. And you make sure that let's say when I get home, like basically tonight I'll be home in the evening. So before I go home, even today if you check on my phone, I can just show you this practical leadership, I can just show you on practicals.
You've scheduled it in your diary?
No, not diary. I just want to show you that today I've been away from home for quite a number of hours. I left home early in the morning. But I have spoken to my wife today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I'm away from home. I've called my wife 6 times. Every day I'm calling my wife, and every day I'm just away from home, and I would send a very wonderful message to my wife. You keep in touch with family,
because that heart is so important.
You keep in touch with the family. I've called my son. I've called my daughter today. I've called my daughter when I'm in town. I just call them, not them for nothing, but just say hello.
Just connect.
How are you? Where is mom? How are you doing? You just connect. Then when I go home, definitely they know
it's an extension.
It's an extension of all that. But now when, for example, like now for the pastors, on Tuesday I give myself for the pastors fellowship, fully for the pastors fellowship. And I'm there the whole day. Anything that has anything to do with the pastors fellowship, from the fellowship to the meetings and individual pastors, that is Tuesday for them. I go to my school in the morning, and like even today in the morning I was there for about a few minutes there, where if need be I would be there for longer. So it's kind of disputing yourself. And whenever you make sure that every part of you gets enough time, but more to the family.
Wow. There's something golden about that. We've seen great men work for organizations at the expense of the families. We've seen great men like Nelson Mandela, who fought for South Africans but forgot his family. We've seen great evangelists like Penny Hill.
We may not need to name a lot of names, but it's quite a challenge. It's quite a challenge, because sometimes when you're giving quite a number of responsibilities, they want you, those responsibilities are calling you away from home. So you have to make sure that that connection at home is not broken by anything. Let not your work take the place of your family. Just the way that your work should not take the place of your worship. You said the work worship, wife.
Yeah.
You know,
The three W's.
the
Yeah.
three W's. You know,
Yeah.
let your work should not take the place of your worship, and your
Worship,
work and worship
yeah, should not
should not take the place
touch.
of your wife.
Yeah.
You know, your wife is kind of the
Yeah,
you give
yeah.
her enough time, and wife would represent wife and family. So that basically is that art of balancing,
Yeah.
whereby you are available, you listen to them. Sometimes you may end up cancelling some not always, but you can cancel some appointment sometimes.
Yeah.
If there's a family issue,
Prioritize the
yeah, like
family.
today I've cancelled so many things, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, because I had to do some things with my son.
Yeah.
I was with him. I drove with him from morning from home. I've been with him up to the time we met outside here.
Yeah.
So I've given him like 9 hours today.
Yeah.
You know, and by that, you know, anytime I'm going for a journey, I've been traveling a lot. I have to travel. In most of the cases, I have to travel with someone from family.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to Nairobi for a meeting, so I would carry my children and leave them somewhere, maybe to when they're doing some games somewhere, I would carry them. The other time I was in Nanyuki, I carried my 3 kids. I left them at their shows. You know, I just want to be available. I just want to be with them. You know, I'm going somewhere for longer. Definitely, my wife would accompany me. You know, the family bond is a strength of my leadership.
Yeah.
Whereby I'm close to them. I'm close to people who loves me. I give them their time. Definitely and then when I'm coming here, you see, I'm not distracted.
Yeah.
You know, I come here and I give myself fully.
They know you're here.
And to what I'm doing here,
Yeah.
I give myself fully to that.
Wow.
From here, I'm going to another meeting in Montana. I think we're meeting with you somewhere. Then another meeting. I'll give myself fully to that meeting. And when I'm going home, I'm going home.
Take the hat.
You call me when I'm at home, you'll be shocked. My phone
We'll miss it in the morning.
is a danger. You'll find me calling you back in the morning.
No, that's great of a father.
Yeah, sure.
Now, let's go back to your leadership roles.
Yes.
Kenya and Africa is going through a turbulent political period.
Yes.
Because of the COVID challenges. Uganda is having elections.
Oh, yeah.
TZ just had elections the other day. Burundi, may the former president Nkurunziza rest in peace. The BBI debate. You people are advising, the Interfaith Council are advising the president. As EAK and the other bodies you're sitting, you're advising the government. What is your advice to this guy listening to us on your BBI?
Maybe if you, I cannot speak for any organization.
Yeah.
I don't have that
Authority
to speak for any organization, but I can speak for me.
Go ahead, sir.
And for me, in support of all that, anybody who has an idea of bringing people together, it's a wonderful idea. It's a biblical idea. Any leader who is bringing people together, if somebody sees there's a need to bring people together at that level, that's a wonderful idea. If there's a conflict between me and you, and he decides to bring a bridge, that's a wonderful idea. If that is the intention, then that is a wonderful direction the country is taking. The only thing that I would like to point out myself from me is that I see quite a number of people suffering now in matters COVID, and I think we need to really give a lot of focus on that. We need to give a lot of focus on that. You know, even today I was at the PGH hospital. There was something I was doing there, and people are really suffering. And I think if I was to give my small idea or advice to anyone who is in that kind of leadership, if we were able to put all our focus now on matters COVID and helping people who have suffered in business, suffered in families, suffered in education, and we put our focus there, I think even the people would feel that this is a leadership, because people don't even want to know how much you know. People want to know how much you care at whatever level of leadership. People care. How much do you care? And anything that would point people to a point that they see as if you are not caring for them, then your leadership is questionable. So can we focus our efforts and our eyes and our money to caring for people now on matters of the disaster that is happening right now? So that would be my take on that.
Wow. Excellent. Still on political leadership. As a leader in a faith-based organization, would you advise for the church to pray for politicians during the election period, or would you advise for the church to get their own into political positions?
Yeah. I think my views, and that's have always been my views, that The church is a key. The church is actually the key, not a key.
Is the key.
Is the key. Is the key that's supposed to open doors for in every other area for the people to have a good life. And my take is that we need people in leadership who care, whether they come from the church, and they are supposed to come from the church. Me, I'm for bishops becoming members of parliament.
Wow.
You know, I'm for pastors becoming senators.
Like Malawi, they have a bishop who's the president.
Yeah. Who said that? You know. The funny thing, Jose is. Let's just look at what we do mainly.
Yeah.
We pray.
Yeah.
We pray for God. Oh God, give us a righteous leader. Give us a righteous leader.
Your choice.
A righteous leader. You know, by righteous leader, we have some qualifications.
Yeah.
Definitely, maybe something happens during the voting period. We don't vote now the righteous leader. We vote the other leader. Now again, we pray now, God, help the unrighteous leader to do righteousness.
And honor your will.
So how can an unrighteous leader do righteousness?
Yeah.
It cannot happen.
It's funny.
It's just waste of time, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's the high time we start thinking leadership. And we put people in power, people who we know that they're going to be there as our voice. People are going to be there for the people we have tested, people have a track record, and raise them up. You know, some people have captured our mind. You know, I don't want to quote Bob Marley, but I can.
He was the leader.
But he said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. And I think what we are facing is a mental slavery.
Wow. That's a big one.
Some people in our country, and even in our city, and even in our very small communities, have captured our minds. So we only think them. But it's high time we start thinking ourselves and look within ourselves. Who are those people who really have the heart and they care for people, and we give them position of leadership. And I'm actually advising the church to think outside the church box and come out there and look who is that person, whether be it a clergyman or somebody within the church. Who is that person that we can send to leadership? We can send to we're not only voting for a person, but somebody we can sit with and agree. When you get to that position, this is exactly what you'll do for Nakuru, you know, and for Kenya and for whatever location for that matter. You know, all these leaders that we have, we cannot go back to them because there's nothing we agreed. We just voted them in.
Yeah, there are no MOUs.
By the way, I'm for MOUs.
Yeah.
I'm going to lead Nakuru to that level. Come the time of election, but we need to get leaders. We sit together and we say, can we agree with you that when you get to that position, this
deliver
is you deliver A, B, C, D for the people. So I'm really open and telling the church people to look at it at some level. You know, people who have revolutionized. You know, America is kind of we benchmark democracy with America. But we know America has not always been a democracy. There's a time America had a lot of challenges, but let me remind the church people that it was a pastor who revolutionized America in the name of Martin Luther. So, if Martin Luther was able to change America, I think pastors should change
how about Africa?
You know. But Martin Luther, being the son of a pastor, and he was also a pastor at the age of 29, and he was able to see leadership away from, he saw the Bible as a practical book outside the church, whereby he saw the oppression of the black people, and he said, no, this should not happen. This is ungodly. You know, listen to his speeches. They're like preachings on the street. I'm looking for the righteous. One day this country will be exalted in righteousness, where the black and the white people shall live together. I have a dream where my 4 young children will sit together with the white community, where the kid of the slave and
where there's no black or white.
The kid of the slave and the kid of the slave owner shall sit together in the same class. This is a preacher preaching on the street, but he's preaching practicals that are supposed to be implemented in the political circles for people to have a good life. So I'm just telling the church to think outside this. By the way, we have hidden ourselves in this box for too long. We have very key leaders in our church. I wish they were the presidents, they were the governors, they were the senators, or they were MCAs. So when that time comes, we're going to think about the election, but The church needs to wake up.
Because, Chairman, there's this stereotype. It's a statement that many people are used to speaking during election time, that if a man of God or a clergyman vies for an elective political position, they say that this guy has lost direction. What would you advise the leaders if their members and the clergy are going to vie for election?
You know, that's part of the mental slavery.
Sure.
That's part of it.
It's the cage. It's part of the cage.
That's the game of mental slavery.
Yeah.
A pastor can become a doctor,
Sure.
and treat people's physical bodies. A pastor can become a businessman. We have quite a number of them. We have pastors who are doctors. We have bishops who are doctors, medical doctors in hospitals. We have pastors in business, pastors in real estate.
Yeah.
We have pastors who are teachers. We have pastors who are in every other
field,
corner.
yeah.
We have pastors in the market, even in the Wakulima market.
Yeah.
We have pastors. They have pastors as farmers. And they are doing very well as farmers and also as pastors. We have pastors everywhere. We have
Even the
pastors as
military.
lecturers.
Yeah.
We have, so why is it only in this thing
political
that
arena,
we think that pastors cannot do well?
the point is observed.
That's mental slavery, and we need to get pastors to that place. We need to get people, men of God, people who are spirit-filled.
Yeah.
Okay, the Bible, going by the Bible, righteousness exalts a nation. When the righteous are in leadership, the people rejoice. So where are the righteous? The righteous are the people who are connected to God at that level of worship. So those are the people. They just need to be equipped with the leadership skills, and which they already have.
Yeah.
We have some people who have really started some things from scratch, and they have started some ministries that have transformed many families and many people just from scratch. And if they were able to do that, who tells you that they cannot start some organizations for the youth in their communities, and they can do wonders given the position and the financial empowerment and the moral support of the community? It's that time we start thinking Malawi,
I get it.
Thinking Malawi, thinking America.
May God help us.
Yeah.
Now, I hope a leader is listening to us. Before we finish that part, there's the issue of succession in leadership.
Yes.
We're saying for the first time, the US, the mighty superpower, it was difficult for the former president to accept that he has lost it. We're seeing a scenario in Uganda whereby now our friend, the young guy, Bobby Wine, Robert Kyagulanyi, is being in cell every day.
Harassed.
Because people are not leaders in Africa or say the world. It's like they're not prepared for to exit. What is your take on?
Actually, it's not really an African problem.
Yeah, it's a global.
It's a leadership problem. At some maybe some people who have not really understood leadership. Is whereby what you're supposed to do, as soon as you assume an office, start raising your successor, because whether you like it or not, even age-wise, you have to exit. You have to exit, and you better exit according to your plan, rather than being forced by situations and circumstances. People are demonstrating on the street to get you out of your regime. People are tired of you. But there's a way you can just raise a successor. I'm saying that because even at my leadership,
you're doing
level,
it practically somewhere.
I can even point to you my successor. I don't even need to blink.
But hide them for now.
they don't even know. That's something they don't even know.
That's a leader secret.
They don't even know. But there's some people at my level of leadership, I'm grooming them to be my successors.
Sure.
And that's what every leader should be doing. And also kind of give yourself a leadership term and leadership limit of time.
You're not eternal.
You're not eternal. You don't have to carry all the wisdom. Give other peoples and then other generations an opportunity to give what they have. Because we only have little. I have a little, you have a little. So whatever don't give an opportunity. So you'll always be thinking that all I have is what is needed, but then you may be having the cure of a problem that we are facing today. So what I'm saying for leadership, looking at those examples, the reason why you're pointing out those examples is because everybody knows that that's not right.
Sure.
That's not right.
Even a layman knows that.
Even a layman, everybody would look at those kind of scenarios. And they're happening in churches, they're happening in family businesses, they're happening in family estates. They're not only political, whereby the leader doesn't want to release. Maybe leaders should look at that as an area and equip themselves and kind of write. One of the leaders said that God told him, now start writing your exit. And he said, that's something I've never thought about. I'm 70. I've never thought about my exit. I'm still thinking that I'll be here 20 years down the line. And basically, by the way, even yourself and me and our friends here, if you just add 20 years to your life now, today, things will be different.
It's true.
Things you just add 20.
It's true. Basic arithmetic.
Do it now.
It's true.
Things will be so different. And there's some things you are doing now you may not be able to do in 20 years.
We need
time.
to hand over some batons.
Don't hand the baton at that point. Start training somebody to drive what you drive, so that, and allow him to drive when you watch. I love the succession story of Jesus Christ. That's why I told you Jesus is my model.
Super role model.
Jesus knew that he's going to leave this world. The minute he started ministry is the minute he started releasing his successors. The very first day, he came out of the, came out of the wilderness. You know the story about Jesus Christ. And then he started calling Peter and John and James and Andrew. He picked them from at the beginning of ministry. And then he was with them together, teaching them about ministry and allowing them to do it when he is alive. Allowing them to drive the car when he is there as a co-driver. And he would be able to correct the mistakes they are making. And then when they were fully now equipped to run the ministry, Jesus took the exit and the guys took the driving wheel. And if that would be happening in our leadership, I'd like to speak maybe to fathers, maybe even fathers at home. You see driving, even if we are talking of not even driving, even driving a car. Can you imagine this father who has this good car?
But your kids cannot touch it.
Nobody on earth can drive your car.
Unless you're sick.
Even when you're sick, you still drive. You'll be dying driving the car.
It's so unfortunate of leadership.
It's so unfortunate. And this is your kid here. He is 18, 17.
Willing to learn.
Even your wife. We have some people, even the wives cannot drive. We have a leadership challenge. Leadership is not you doing the thing. Leadership is you working together with the people and bring them on board to do the thing. Leadership is all about influencing our people towards a positive cause. Leading from one point A to point B. Equip people to drive if you have a car. That's leadership. Equip people to write something that you're able to write that didn't know how to write before. That's leadership. Leadership, we just need to look at the future and start releasing our successors. Most of the challenges we have in our country today, and even in some families today, they will not be there if the fathers who were there at that particular point in time were able to write that succession thing and train their sons on how to handle their property after they are gone. And then if you don't have a successor, you don't even know when you go. You can go anytime.
It's true.
And then you leave. I find some people die today and everything dies with them. That's not right. Jesus dies and the ministry
actually it magnifies its impact.
It magnifies, the impact is bigger. He has 120 who are looking like him.
And they go global.
And they go global.
Sure.
So we need to look at that angle of raising successors and be comfortable when you're raising somebody. See the future of the organization. When I look at some buildings even in our country, and you find a building written so and so Patel 1931. I like that thing. This father did it in 1930. So he raised another son. Look at some families. I don't want to name a lot of names here, but you can look at some families in Nakuru where you find this business was started in 1930 by their great grandfather.
And Sons Company.
You find that there's a lot of succession. You go there and you find the father who is there now, or brings the son. Even the smaller kids, they're being taught how to handle money. They're being taught. We never got the benefit of that, but we cannot keep on making the same mistakes. If you're a pastor and you're in leadership, please start raising somebody else. Don't even tell them, but raise them. Raise them. Equip them. And when that time comes and you find they're mature enough, give yourself something else. Allow them to take over. That's how leadership should be done.
That's a big one. I think when you're coming back, we're going to talk about the principles that have kept you going and the principles that you desire any future leader to take up for the destiny. We'll be right back. Wow, Pastor Alex, this is a year many will want to forget, 2020. And it's the year which has exposed leadership in challenging times, and it's brought leaders in their true colors. We've seen governors who are perceived to be excellent, manifesting something else. We've seen leaders who are not known coming out and showing strength in their leadership. What can you comment about leadership in challenging times as a leader?
Definitely leadership is a journey, and every journey has challenges.
Yeah.
Any journey that you take in this life, you have to equip yourself and be ready for challenges. Just like the journey from Nakuru to Kisumu.
Yeah.
And your car is okay, now there's no challenge there, and the petrol is okay, you have done the service, but the moment you reach Muhoroni, there's a tire burst.
Yeah.
So that is a challenge. So that maybe in your mind, equip yourself knowing that a challenge may come my way. But when a challenge comes, that because the challenge is not the challenge is not the challenge. The challenge is how you handle the challenge.
Yeah.
Somebody said the problem is not the problem. The problem is how you handle the problem. So taking an example of that motor vehicle, and you have a tire burst. When a tire burst happens, you look for people, other people away from the people who are inside the car. Yeah. Maybe you may not even have the equipment to fix the tire. So you carry the tire. You when a challenge comes, be ready for change and adapt to the change. You are driving your Mercedes Benz. The tire burst has happened. You are somewhere in Moroni.
Yeah.
And now you have the wheel. You have to go to Moroni shopping center. The only means that is available is in Nduthi. So the owner of the Mercedes is now seated on the motorbike. Amechafuliwa na tire.
Yeah. Seeking help.
Seeking for help.
A mechanic.
From a mechanic. So what I tell people in challenges, because challenges will always come, be this person who tries to look for help. You go to the expert in that particular area. If your body has a challenge, you don't handle it. You go to hospital because you know they have the expertise to help you in that kind of a challenge. So when challenge, and mainly maybe challenges have stayed long because people have not acknowledged the fact that I am not the doctor in this challenge. Yeah. When you try to heal ourselves, let me just use another biblical example and permit me to use the Bible as my book.
Your reference book.
So Jesus has told the disciples, let us cross over to the other side. And that is a journey. Everybody is excited at the other side. But in the middle of the journey, the storms. Now that's the challenge came. Yeah. And these people, they were just about to be killed by the storm. Why? Because they took it upon themselves to do something they're not qualified to do. Yeah. You know, I know you may be qualified as a fisherman, but you're not qualified to fight the storm. Sure. And you find Peter and James, and they are fighting one another, fighting the storm. But along the line, they got some wisdom that Jesus is in this boat. Yeah. So they went and called Jesus, who came and stood, and eventually the storm was no more, and they were able to get to the other side. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, in especially this year, let's just look for help. Let's look for helpers. There are some people we can run to, and they can help us, even if it's a matter of advice, and they can help us during challenging times. So in case of our challenge, be ready for challenges. Challenges will come in marriage, in leadership, in church, in whatever, in business, but go for help. When challenges
in other words, we invest in multiple relationships.
Yes.
Because you never know when you need one.
Yes, you know when you are about to ask me about principles, and what you've just mentioned is one of the principles in leadership is connections.
Wow.
Yeah, connections. You know, I have maybe there's so many principles that we can bring here and talk about, but one of them is the fear of God. That should be that's the highest one. The fear of God. Whereby you are this leader who is able to fear God. To fear God means that you listen to God, you follow His directions, whatever He teaches you obey. So that is the fear of God as a leader. And the fear of God calls somebody to be connected to a spiritual authority for spiritual covering. People can pray for you. I know many leaders may not embrace that, but that is a key thing in leadership. Where you're connected to Pastor Jose as your pastor, even if you're a senior leader somewhere. These people, spiritual leaders, they have a lot of input into our leadership. Sure. Even if it was only prayer. So that's one of the things, even sitting down and listening to them preach, there's that kind of a spiritual hunger that everybody has that is satisfied at that level. The second thing about leadership is mentorship, a principle whereby you need to have mentors as a leader. You are supposed to come to me as the chairman of the Pastors Fellowship, and I can just point to you quickly, this person, so Bishop so-and-so is my mentor. It's somebody I've approached. It's not something that I think about that's not happening. The minute I got that seat, I called so-and-so and I told them, please, I've been given this responsibility, please mentor me in this journey. And then they said yes. So it is intentional, it is planned, and I talk to them when challenges come, even when there are no challenges. How do you think about the fellowship? Are we doing the right thing? And whatever the direction they give me, I take it. So we need to have mentors in this journey of leadership. The other thing is connection. I said the first one was God,
Fear of God,
relationships, mentorship, and then he said connections, whereby you need to be a person or a people's person. You need to be connected upward and downward and sideways.
All
there's a street child who is my friend. There's a shoe signer who is my friend. There's a mechanic who is my friend. There is I have my peers. There are other chairmen who are my
taxi guy
friend.
who is always at the beck and call.
There are people above me who are my friend. There are people who are not necessarily in church business who are my friend. There are people who are not even born again. You are connected everywhere. So because through connections you quite learn a lot, and you have people who are for you anytime that you may need them. Connections are very, very important, whereby you are able to relate with all people. You are in their thing, they come to your thing. Then the other one is now that journey of leadership growth. Keep on equipping yourself. There are so many wonderful courses that are happening. Others are online. Others are even free. Just learn something new. Be a student all the time. Be a student all the time. Be ready to grow. Is John Maxwell who says anything that stops to grow starts to decay. Don't allow yourself to decay. You just keep on growing. Keep on growing. Ask questions. Be a wonderful listener. You acknowledge your mistakes. And learn to tell people you're sorry. Learn to tell people that when you're in the wrong. Hey, I'm sorry, I did something wrong there, but we can rectify it. So just being that people's person in leadership and equipping yourself with some leadership goals, leadership principles, leadership books, leadership trainings. So basically, those are kind of the few principles that can take your leadership.
Thank you for the 3 principles. Now, someone says that Africa is our business because Africa is a home. Now, I want to speak to the camera and talk to that guy who's watching us. Your last words to African leadership.
Okay, there's a lot we can say to African leadership. And by the way, one of the things we'd like to say to African leadership, that there's no really African leadership. Leadership is leadership anywhere. And there's no church leadership, business leadership. There's a way the principles cut across the board. But now, I would really request the leaders in Africa, as we say, number one, let us get people who are mentoring us, because that is really lacking. If you are a leader, whether you are a church leader, whether you are a business leader or political leader, can you just get a people who can correct you, who can guide you, and you receive them to the level that whatever they tell you to do, you do it, because you have received them as mentors, and these are people who have a goodwill, they are wishing you well, and they want you to succeed in leadership. The other thing that learn a lot about leadership. Teach yourself, go to leadership training, learn a lot about leadership, and then be very practical in your leadership, that you are honestly leading the people because you care for them. That's what I would tell people in African leadership, that whatever position you're given, you're not leading after the position. You're not a positional leader. You are there because you care for the people, and you have a burden to see them getting to the next level in wherever you want to take them to. So basically, those are the keys of leadership. Put God first. Be a family person. That's a key thing in leadership also. Make sure that your family is okay. You have a good relationship with your children, with your wife. That's very important at whatever level of leadership. Make sure that you're well connected with family. And when challenges come, please look for a doctor. Look for somebody who is higher than you, who you can relate with, who cares for you, and they can teach you the way out of your challenge. Otherwise, leadership is not that complicated, but it's a great, great thing that is really needed in the family, in the church, in the community, in the politics. Leadership is what we need in Africa.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Alex, for being our guest and for sharing your sentiments on leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the Leadership Show. Let's connect again in the next edition. Adios.
Welcome. Thank you.